Thank you also to the organizer for having invited me. I'm professor of ecology and plant protection at the Sustainable Agriculture degree course of the Brescia University. So I was asked to represent the research challenges and contributions related to plant health that are performed here at the university's network in Lombardy. I would like to summarize and touch different examples and of collaboration between researchers in order to provide knowledge and to support with science what could be the future of plant health. Next one, please. So in my presentation, I will touch mainly three items. One is a brief understanding or an exploration of what is the meaning of plant health. And second, we explore more in deep what are the approaches to plant health that are performed here in Lombardy. And finally, I try to explore what are the implications for plant health management of all the achievements in science. Next one. Okay, so we know that plant health is at the basis of human health via the ecosystem services they provide. So in our understanding now, plant health and plant in general are at the basis of what we can call the One Health. So in an holistic perspective, plants are really what can link human health, environmental health, and animal health. And for sure, we have to link environmental health to sustainability. So that means the plant helps us in overcome any idea that humans are at the center of the world or the universe. So next one, but what is plant health? For sure, we know that plant health is not just the absence of suffering of diseases for a plant, but it's something more complex. For sure, we know that plant health is an emerging property, such as a property of a system of interacting and dynamical components. We also know and try to understand that plant health is related to the delivery of ecosystem services. They are so important for our life and the life of the planet. Next one. So this is a more complex slide that can help us in understanding the link between what are all the external drivers influencing plant health. We know that we have a abiotic component, the resources, environmental variables, but also biological elements influencing the plant individual and population traits. We know pests, but also we have competitive species, but also very important mutualistic interactions. Then we have a human component. We know that are managing plants for agriculture and not only, but also we are managing landscape, modifying it. So plants react to all these external drivers and according to their strategy are characterized by specific level of health that in turn influences ecosystem services. So acting on the external drivers, knowing better the individual and population plant traits, we can also influence what are the ecosystem services plant deliver. Next one. So next, okay, so I try here to summarize, no, next one, please. I try here to summarize some example of the research effort universities in Lombardy that are performed in the University of Lombardy. They are most relevant for plant health. I follow a scheme that I consider three level. Next one. So the idea of first of all, previous one. Okay. So the idea is that we can look at the health of the plant and the contribution of research considering different level of resolution from molecules to the continental scale. Then we can understand how research can contribute to plant health try to explore the degree of involvement of interacting components, for example, interaction among species, for understanding how the system dynamics react to any kind of perturbation. Then we will explore how different dimensions that are addressed in research are relevant for what is plant health, but also sustainability. Next one. So these are the three universities I represent. We have on the left the University of Milan, Statale, that is the most important university in Lombardy, and the one is the most important in Italy. Then we have on the right the University of Pavia, that is a medium-sized university, as is the University of Brescia in the center to which I belong to. And these three universities are based and work researchers, lab, and groups dedicated to plant health with strong connection with international research institutions and organizations, but also with an important attention devoted to national and local needs linked to agriculture and environmental protection. Here follows some example, next one. So it's very important, first of all, try to understand the molecular basis of what is plant health. Many efforts are performed here in Lombardy in terms of understanding the mechanism at the molecular level involving the role of DNA and other molecules in terms of identify, monitor invertebrate diversity, but also pathogens and their impact on plant health. Next one. So it's also important the individual scale. So the attempt to understand how knowing biology of the plant and the enemies, we are able to better understand how they interact and how these interactions could influence plant growth and productivity. Next one, molecular and individual level are also linked. So we have the possibility to link what are the mechanisms and the physiological basis at molecular level in order to better understand what are the performance of the plant at the individual level. At the next level, we try to understand how the individual plants are linked to the population. So this is because we investigate the interaction between invasive species and plants at the population level, also trying to understand better what are the risks of entry, establishment, spread, and impact of plant pests, but also investigating the effect of external drivers, also by abiotic drivers, on the population dynamics of pests and plants. The next one, finally, our research effort, no, the next one, sorry. The next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Our research are also devoted to better understanding what occurs at the continental scale. So in this way, we try to develop tools for the evaluation of pest impacts, but also to prioritize the risk associated with different plant pests. Next one. The third level of our approach is the systematic. The second is the systematic analysis, trying to investigate the relation between pests and plants, but also trying to better pose the scientific basis of controlling pests via biological agents or biotechnological methods for better controlling harmful organisms for plants. The next one. Systemic approach is also related to the idea of better understanding what are the mechanisms at the landscape level in terms of reducing the impact of phytosanitary products, better understanding what is the role of biodiversity in the ecosystem services and the relation between the different biodiversity components with plant health, ensuring the provision of these important aspects that are for our life, the ecosystem services. Our research, next slide, is also devoted to explore how research outputs new methodologies and techniques, as well as science-based management schemes, that have important connection with all the dimensions related to sustainability. Research in Lombardy addresses the economic dimensions, for example, exploring the synthesis of new bioactive molecules from agricultural food waste, or producing biofertilizers from fermentation of Trichoderma species. Next slide. So the role of the next one, yes, please. No, the 18, please. The environmental dimension is also very important for the identification and use of fungi that are useful for bioremediation, for example, degrading plastic or oil or pesticide in the environment. The environmental, next one, the environmental component is very much important, and we address it, for example, promoting natural capital conservation through extraction and conservation of genetic material for the generation of new plant varieties, but also understanding what are the best practices for conservation of different biodiversity components into the field. The next one, also social and governance dimension are included in the action of our university with the aim of integrating pest management, resilient communities, functional biodiversity, and land use at the most integrative level of analysis for managing plant health issues. A social and government aspect are also important because we know that plant pests are impacting on many aspects of our social and economic life. For example, influencing the food security or threatening human health. Both these aspects are considered in the research performed at our 3 universities. Okay, next one. All these important results and achievements are considered in terms of scientifically based management paradigms. We started many years ago from the idea of that we can manage the plant health on single technology. This was at the basis of the Green Revolution, integrating a specific technology with a linear point of view in which technology is able to solve a problem. With the introduction of IPM programs, we were based our intervention with the idea of better understanding the system dynamics and base our intervention on knowledge. Next one. Now we are facing a challenge, and the challenge is a challenge of complexity. I've tried to show different elements of this complexity, and for that, the management of plant health has to change in the direction of considering multi-level analysis from molecules to field to area-wide management. But also it's necessary to consider that many actors deal with the plant health problems. That is because we have to consider all the components of the system, their interests, their cultures, their traditions. And finally, plant health is related to multi-sector problems, and we have to consider different stakeholders that are involved. Next one, but how to deal with this complexity and how to fill the gap between research and applications. We need tools, tools that allow to assess and coordinate information, knowledge, and models, but that link to easy-to-use interface. This is really the challenge. So linking the complexity of the system with the complexity of the representation of the system with tools that will help the managers to taking decision in this complex environment. And finally, we have to promote collaborative solutions. In an adaptive management scheme, this means complementing the hierarchical and market solution with the idea of that we need to support communication among stakeholders, sharing perspective with the mutual support and collaboration and trust. So basically, the solution of plant health related issues is a matter of cooperation and integration of knowledge. Next one. So I would like to thank you, all the colleagues. Next one, please. I would like to thank all the colleagues that contributed to this presentation. They are from the 3 universities, but we also to thank colleagues from ERSAF and Regione Lombardia who give us the possibility to present our results. Thank you very much.